regresses, in maintaining samadhi, in this present life, dursta dharma, and cannot quickly recover, the samadhi. Later, when he is born among those celestials, samadhi is not extremely bright and pure, nor is the form large, and he definitely dies in the interval. He who cultivates the middle degree does not necessarily regress, and if he regresses he quickly recovers it. Later, when he is born among those celestials, even though the samadhi is extremely bright and pure and its form is large, still it is not maximal, and although one, sometimes, dies in the interval it is not certain.
He who cultivates the superior degree necessarily does not regress. Later, when he is born among those celestials, there is maximal brightness and purity and the form is large, and he necessarily does not die in the interval but only falls from that existence, once the lifespan is completely filled. This samadhi is only connected with the fourth trance state. Also, it is exclusively good, because it is attracted by that trance state. It is absent in stages below and above, as a result of what was said earlier. Actions, karma, of the four trance states, belongs to the three categories of retribution, with the exception of that which conforms to the present life. There is an interpretation that this samadhi only occurs in the realm of desire, because it occurs through the power of non-Buddhist teachings and because among humans, discernment and understanding are extremely acute. According to another interpretation, after having first cultivated it in the realm of desire, one can, upon subsequently being born in the realm of form, bring it before one, excluding the unconscious celestials, because it is ultimate. Consequently, it is only impure and not generated by the saints, because it is entered by way of disgust for conceptualization and a delight in its fruits.
The samadhi of cessation means that there are saints who are post-learners or learners who have subdued and gotten rid of the craving of, the stage of, nothing at all, akamkanyayatana, but, in whom, craving of the upper stage, i.e., nave samjananad samjanayatana, is or is not present. As a result of emphasizing the stopping of conceptualization and bringing about the cessation of, both, non-perpetually active and perpetually active defiled mind and mental activities, it is called cessation. It is called samadhi because it causes the body to be tranquil and harmonious. Due to a one-sided disgust for feeling and conceptualization, it is called the samadhi of the cessation of those feelings and conceptualization, samanveditanaroda sambapati. There are three classes of cultivation of this samadhi. He who cultivates the lowest degree necessarily regresses during his present life and cannot recover the samadhi immediately. He who cultivates the middle degree does not necessarily regress in the present life, and if he regresses he immediately recovers it. He who cultivates the superior degree absolutely does not regress.
In the preliminary practice of this samadhi, he who enters it must, as a preparation, be supported by a discursive contemplation of the realm of the peak of existence, which is pure, because among the sequential samadhis it is the supreme one. Even though it belongs to the peak of existence, it is categorized as pure. If, having cultivated this samadhi, one acquires mastery, one's mind is able to make it present in other stages. Although it belongs to the truth of the path, it is categorized as neither learner nor post-learner, because it resembles nirvana. The first appearance of this samadhi exists only among humans, because it occurs as a result of the power of the teachings of the Buddha and his disciples, and because among humans, discernment and understanding are extremely acute. Also, one makes it appear before one later in the upper two realms, because the Adayi Sutra proves that the formless celestials are also called celestials consisting of thought, manamaya deva. Those who as yet do not believe and receive the teaching of store consciousness do not produce this samadhi, because they fear that the absence of form and mind results in annihilation. Believers born there are able to have it present before them, because they know that there is a store consciousness and that they are not annihilated.
In order for this samadhi to appear, it is necessary to eliminate the propensities of the three realms that are eliminated by the path of insight, because ordinary beings are unable to subdue and destroy mind and mental activities of the peak of existence, because this samadhi is subtle, and in order for it to be attracted, the subsequently acquired knowledge of the two kinds of emptiness must be realized. There is an interpretation that of the propensities of the lower 8 stages to be eliminated by the path of cultivation, it is necessary to eliminate wholly those of the realm of desire. The remainder are subdued or eliminated, and later one can for the first time generate this samadhi, because the propensities of the realm of desire, which are of two natures, are complex and strong in obstructing samadhi, and because it is only said that non-returners, anagamin, post-learners of the three vehicles, and various bodhisattvas obtain this samadhi. In accordance with circumstances, they are born in the upper 8 stages and all are able subsequently to generate it.
There is an interpretation that it is necessary to eliminate the propensities of the lower 4 stages that are to be eliminated by the path of cultivation. The remainder are to be subdued or eliminated, and later, one can for the first time generate this samadhi, because the seeds of passions associated with feelings of change are strong in obstructing samadhi. In accordance with circumstances, they are born in the upper 5 stages and all are able subsequently to generate this samadhi. The Sarvastivadin's object, you say that if one subdues the propensities of the lower stages, one can generate this samadhi and later, not eliminating the seeds, or regressing, be born in the upper stages, but will that one, having been born in the upper stages, still eliminate the propensities of the lower stages? We reply, their elimination is no problem, because one resembles someone born in the upper stages who eliminates the innate propensities of manas of the lower stages.
Now the power of the antidote to the passions of non-returners is strong. During the state of nourishing birth, they do not generate passions. It is only as a result of the seeds of the propensities that they nourish birth in the upper realms. Even though there may or may not be regression in the propensities one has subdued, this still does not mean that one is born in an upper stage by subduing the propensities of the lower. Therefore, there is no error in maintaining that one born in the upper stages eliminates the propensities of the lower. In the case of various bodhisattvas of the rank of the 2 non-Mahayana vehicles who have already obtained the samadhi of cessation and have converted to the Mahayana, they are able to generate this samadhi in all stages. If they are not of this type, some with complete minds of the 7th stage are able eternally to subdue all passions. Even though they have not eternally eliminated the propensities to be eliminated by cultivation of the realm of desire, they are able to generate this samadhi as if they had already eliminated them, because the Yogacarabhimi Sastra says that the bodhisattva, having entered the far-going Dhyarambhagama stage, is then able to manifest this samadhi of cessation. Some, from the first stage, are able eternally to subdue all passions, as if they were arhats. They all generate this samadhi during all 10 bodhisattva stages, because a scripture says, the bodhisattva is able, in the first 6 stages, to manifest the samadhi of cessation.
62. Sloth and stupefaction. Mindless slotu, mida, and stupefaction, mirchana, refer to an extremely heavy sloth and stupefaction that prevent all the first 6 consciousnesses from being actually active. Sloth is a physical state attracted by such conditions as extreme fatigue and is contrary to the operation of the first 6 consciousnesses. For that reason, it is called extremely heavy sloth, even though it is not in substance sloth. It is conventionally given that name because it resembles sloth. Stupefaction is a physical state attracted by such conditions as a troubled disposition and is contrary to the operation of the 6 consciousnesses. For that reason, it is called extremely heavy stupefaction alternately. Both of these are minor parts of the sense base of tangibility, sprastavyadhyatana. Excluding these, above, 5 states, mental consciousness always occurs.
63. Birth and death. The times of birth and death are also devoid of mental consciousness. Why is it said that it is inactive only in 5 states? There is an interpretation that birth and death are indicated by the word and, in Vasubandhu's verse. That explanation is not reasonable. Why? Because it is only said that 6 times are said to be mindless, i.e., the above 5 states and, nirvana, without remainder. It should be said that birth and death are included in stupefaction, because these are extreme stages of stupefaction. The word and indicates that the 5 are not confused. This shows that after the 6 consciousnesses have been, temporarily, eliminated,
a return from their own seeds is supported by the fundamental consciousness, and for that reason, Vasubandhu does not mention entering nirvana without remainder, because the 6 consciousnesses do not return then. Of the 5 states, ordinary beings possess 4, excluding the samadhi of cessation. The saints possess only the last 3. Among these 3, Tathagatas and independent bodhisattvas retain 1, because they are devoid of sloth and stupefaction.
64. Simultaneity of the 6 consciousnesses. Therefore, of the 8 consciousnesses, 2 mind, i.e., the 8th consciousness, and manas always evolve simultaneously in all the sentient. If the 6th occurs, then 3 evolve simultaneously. When 1 to 5 of the others occur through the coming together of conditions, then from 4 to 8 are simultaneous. This is the abbreviated explanation of the simultaneous evolving of consciousnesses. If in one sentient being many consciousnesses evolve simultaneously, how can it be said that it is a single sentient being? We reply, if sentience is established on the basis of the number of consciousnesses, then when one is in a mindless state, one must not be sentient. Also, in a state when another mind, i.e., of another realm, is present, how could it be said that oneself is sentient? However, it does not contradict reason to establish sentience on the basis of the number of seeds that constitute the vital principle or unconsciousness as retribution, because both are perpetual and unitary.
It is asked, in a single individual, there is a single similar and immediately antecedent condition, so how can there be evolution of many consciousnesses at the same time? We reply, since you concede that this one condition attracts many mental activities, why not concede that it can attract many kinds of minds? Also, who says definitely that this condition is single? He who says that many consciousnesses are simultaneous concedes that this condition is manifold. Also, when desire grasps many objects at the same time, is not the presence of the many objects grasped at once? Because it is not reasonable that when blending through the power of the combination of organs, objects, etc., that consciousnesses are born successively. Also, although there is no distinction in nature of mental activities, still they vary as species, and you concede that they are born simultaneously, so why not concede that mind of varying species occurs simultaneously?
Also, just as waves and images, in mirrors, appear as many supported by one ocean or mirror, many consciousnesses occur simultaneously supported by a single mind. Also, if you do not concede that mental consciousness occurs simultaneously with the 5 sense consciousnesses, then when they grasp their objects, they would not perceive them clearly, because, like mental consciousness, when it is distracted, the objects have ceased long before. It is asked, how can the one mental consciousness associated with the first 5 consciousnesses grasp one or many objects such as color? We reply, in the same way that consciousness, such as the visual, each grasps one or many of its own objects. Here, too, what is the error? Because both the seen part and the seeing part of consciousness have numerous characteristics.
Why, it is asked, are not various consciousnesses of the same species simultaneous? We reply, because if a consciousness's own object is perceivable, when one consciousness has been able to perceive it, the other similar acts of the same consciousness are of no use. It is asked, in that case, since the 5 consciousnesses have each perceived their own objects, what is the need for a simultaneously present mental consciousness to perceive it? We reply, mental consciousness occurring with the 5 consciousnesses aids the 5 and causes their birth. It is not solely in order to perceive the objects of the 5 consciousnesses. Also, it is different from visual consciousness, etc., because it can clearly perceive and grasp those objects, and therefore it is not useless. Consequently, the Samdhinirmikana Sutra says that mental consciousness is called possessing discrimination, which is not the case with the 5 consciousnesses. Since many consciousnesses evolve simultaneously, why are they not associates? Because of non-identical objects, and, granting that the objects are the same, the substance and number of supports of that one or this one differ, just as the consciousnesses of the 5 organs are mutually unassociated.